The best evidence in a brain injury case, just quickly going to talk about evidence. It will be a quick passage through technology. We'll start with photographs and end up with very sophisticated brain imaging scans. This is a case, and the best evidence in many cases, of course, in particularly car crash case, is a picture of the car. This particular photograph tells you a lot of information. We represented the driver. It was a side impact. You can see on the left side of the car. You can see where the car smashed in there on the passenger side. In behind, you can see the stop sign. That was an intersection where a truck ran through, flashing red light, and hit our client. Our client's actually there on a gurney, and they are preparing a helicopter to fly him to Indianapolis. Now, he had a severe brain injury. However, it was indicated in the medical records initially as a brief loss of consciousness. And then he was put in what they call a medically induced coma. After about 3 weeks, he was released to return with his mother to Virginia, and he made a remarkable recovery in the sense that he could walk and talk, he can take care of himself, he can dress himself, he can feed himself, but he has a lot of ongoing problems. Now, the problem in presenting this case was that the initial scan at the hospital is a CT scan typically. And one of the myths of brain injury that you'll hear often, and if you've ever had, trying to think of the fellow's name, Ray Horn, defense neuropsychologist. Ray Horn does a lot of work in this area, and Ray Horn will always say something to the effect, well, the test I did 6 months after actually revealed worse results than the initial tests. And as we know, brain injury is as bad as it's going to be on the first day, and then there's always a gradual recovery. Well, I think the most important message I have today is that with the new research being done, primarily because of the troops returning from the wars, we now know that brain injury is an ongoing process, that it's not as bad as it's ever going to be at first. In fact, the chemical changes go on in the brain for months and months and months, and that's why you'll see at the end here, I'll show you some imaging that was done a year and a half after this crash that will show areas of damage throughout this gentleman's brain. That if all we had relied upon, or if all we had was the initial CT scan, you'll see there's just a couple of areas of bleeding in the brain. But because of the chemical changes that occur with the damage, later scans will show more damage. So that's something to keep in mind. Photographs like this obviously are important. To give a sense of this person that had been here in Indiana to visit an aunt and to visit his father's gravesite. He was on vacation from Tennessee, and he wakes up in a hospital bed at Wishart Hospital 6 days later, not sure where he is. He has to learn to walk and talk again.